to sleepwalking. Thank you for the company.
Great Raw isn't. Great Raw isn't. Hey,
Yes, indeed.
come on for the walk now. Come on for the walk. Get your chair. Get your weights. Get your jump rope if you're jumping rope. It's summertime, y'all. Whatever you have to, whatever you're going to exercise, get your mat so you can get on the floor. Let me deal with these cameras a minute. Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
indeed, I'm walking. Oh yeah, just for me, I'm walking. Thank you for the company.
Come on for the walk. Please like, comment, share. Tell a friend, tell an uncle, tell an auntie, tell a cousin.
Happy to be walking. Thank you for the company.
Yeah, y'all, it's time. Let's get this party started.
Walking.
Yeah, I'm sure it's something I can do with remote control. I'm sure it's something I can do. There's no doubt in my mind. There's something I can do with remote control that would make my music experience so much better. So much better. I'm trying to get me and not cut my shoulder off. But it is what it am. Whew, let's get it. Let's get this party started right. Every day and every night. I didn't stretch as good as I wanted to because I was sending out the link to Spotify for the promo for the Pod Moves First. And I'll be doing the first episode of the Pod Moves First using the second episode from Neighbors. I won't be able to tell it all on the podcast, so I can tell half of it here. During the pandemic, before the pandemic, Apple did an update and knocked out like the 7th season, 6th season, quite a few episodes of Neighbors. And I called them, and the more we tried to get it together, the more it wouldn't. Then I wound up going to the Apple store where I purchased this from on Greenwich Avenue. And they called the police, not on me, but made sure that there was a policeman there glaring at me. And I'm asking them, how did y'all destroy my video? And I reported them to the Better Business Bureau, all that stuff. It doesn't happen. It doesn't do anything. So, just for the editing thing, and that's why I'm so happy and I'm pushing forward with the Pod Moves First. Though the kids are doing wonderful things. It's everything behind Neighbors is like a yoke on me. And I think the podcast, I put it out there, I congratulate, I thank you for the years, sir. I show you where the kids are who play chess now, how when you promote critical thinking and your child, how successful they can become just within themselves, not for society, within themselves. But it's a lot. So Apple wiped out seasons and episodes. When I tried to get them put it back, it just kept wiping it out more. Then I took it to the Apple store. They knew I was coming, so they had some policemen there glaring me down. And I was like, I don't give a damn. I didn't beg for this computer. I paid for it. And it ain't cheap. But then I knew it was a cult. And though you can buy the equipment, you ain't a cult member. You know what I'm saying? You ain't down for the cult. You ain't the type that would stay out all night long on the street waiting to get an apple this or apple that. Oh, God. And I mean G-A-W-G. Anywho, since then, so then Matthew sent me, he sent me the episodes, and I was trying to upload them to, okay, so during the pandemic, I said, Matthew, he's the editor, if you go to neighborstv.chessphone, he's the editor of the show. When we first put it together, it was Miriam, me, Leslie, Miriam, Matthew, Alex, and Sebastian, because he was there from the start and was at a couple of meetings. So, from the start. So, during the pandemic, which was the 10th anniversary of Neighbors, I didn't know how to upload the videos or anything like that. So I asked Matthew, I said, let me pay you to upload the videos, because I had a YouTube channel just for the Neighbors videos. And he was busy, he couldn't do it right then. And then maybe a month later, he sends me a letter saying, "Oh, I put the episodes up," and he made a whole YouTube channel, and he put the videos up on that channel. I don't have a password for it. I don't have anything for it. I went through the letter he sent me with a fine-tooth comb, and I couldn't see it. So, but that has been Neighbors. I just so desperately, I had PTSD when I started Neighbors. No one knows that. I couldn't sleep at night. If I heard a car backfire, I would roll on the floor. We lived on North Water, which is an emergency fare-through. And every time the fire trucks were by, finally someone said, "Listen, could you not screech? You know you're going through a neighborhood at 2 o'clock in the morning, people are sleeping. Could you just flash your lights and keep it moving?" And thank God they started doing it. Because I would wake up terrorized. I just left Mount Vernon. I just left Mount Vernon from making bleach and water and sweeping blood off the sidewalk. Calling every senator, congressman, everybody, everything. I mean, constantly coming home and seeing white sheets thrown over some dead body. I can't believe it. I even went all the way up to Westchester County. I said, "Could y'all do something when y'all release them? Could y'all make sure they don't come back to the same damn corner? Could you can y'all do state exchanges? You send your free prisoners to their state, and they send theirs. These folks are coming back to the same corner getting shot. Doing the same, excuse my French, fuck shit." I couldn't believe it. I mean, you could be walking across the street and someone shoots, and I'm talking about 4 years. I had nightmares about being caught in a stampede. because they used to stampede in Mount Vernon. And I was on the south side. See, we went there as artists. We were gonna go there as artists. Bill Howard said, he built he said, we're gonna take those old factories that are empty, and we're gonna make them into artist lofts. And you're gonna, if you're an artist, you can get one of the houses, or one of the lofts, and what you have to do is commit to. Oh, I gotta put that fan on, y'all. It's a little fan, but it do make a difference. I don't mind sweating, because this is what it's all about. Hold on, y'all. I gotta do a lot of crossover. It's a little fan, but it is powerful, child. I have all these cameras and stuff. You don't want to go viral. That's the top of my brain. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was government horribleness. It was police horribleness. Like, I'll ever be grateful to Elizabeth George. She's an English writer. And what interests me, I was working at the library, and the name of the book was After He Shot Her. And I was like, after he shot her? Caught me right away. And it was about a boy from the English ghettos who shot, I think, a policeman's wife, and the whole thing of tracking him down. But in it, Elizabeth George says, in following the young man that had shot the cop's wife, Elizabeth George said that when she was describing the community, that there was a car that would come playing loud, loud, loud music. And all the drug dealers would go to that car because that was the car that had their supplies of drugs, heroin, basically back then in England, heroin. And then all the drug dealers would come out, re-up, get their supply. And he would go to the next community, and how you would know he was there, because he would play the music loud. Now, maybe a year or two goes by, and all of a sudden, I'm telling you, 1 o'clock in the morning, this thing, I don't know what it was in the beginning, would show up with a bass that was setting off cars. Car alarms, I would say. Setting off car alarms. And I kept saying, I would wake up, what is that? What is that? What is that? And then it would stop. And you say, oh, maybe somebody in the building playing, maybe they speaker got away from them or something. Then you doze back off to sleep, and you would hear again, boom, 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 boom. You hear car alarms. But it would be farther away. You could tell it's to like the left, the next block over. And you're like, okay, well, at least it's not here. Okay. And then they'll stop. And you're like, okay, all right, maybe it's moved on. And you don't hear nothing, maybe for a half hour, maybe for 45 minutes. And then you hear boom, 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 car alarms will go off. And you wake up and you sit up and you're like, what is that? And you hear it, and now it's going to your right. And it's going a few more blocks over. It's fainter. And then it stops. And you're like, holy cow. What is going on? You settle back down to sleep, and you would hear it again. But now it's coming close to you, but it's behind you. So it would rotate. So finally I had enough. I was like, I called it non-emergency. I was like, y'all got to do something. I said, there's this car moving around. Oh yes, the neighbors complain about it, but by the time we get there, it's gone. So I hang up the phone. And then just like that Elizabeth George book jumped in my head. I said, holy shit. Holy shit. It's a fiction. It can't be real. Elizabeth George wrote a fiction book. What? After he shot her. Or what came after he shot her. That's a fiction book. The drug dealers moving around with the boom, 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 and letting the drug dealers, the suppliers moving around the car, boom, 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 letting, the drug dealers know that they're there. Even in her book, she said they had another boom, boom, boom car, which was the people who collected the money. Oh, she broke it down. So, then the next night, I'm telling you, you laying in bed, and that bass hit, boom, 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 and you leave. I mean, alarm car's going off again. You don't even know what the hell to do, what's going on. And, of course, everybody calls the police, and the police go, you don't hear anything. So then, I remember reading in Elizabeth George's books where in England, they sent unmarked cars to get them. So they had unmarked cars in England stationed around the community. And when they heard that music, the unmarked cars showed up and busted them. And then that was it. So I said, oh man. So I called a non-emergency phone number. I said, listen. I said, y'all gotta really get somebody. I said, I'm reading this book. And that's suppliers. He's coming to let them know where he is and what's going on. I said, I just read in the book. I said, and also in the book, they had unmarked cars in the area. So when the boom, boom, boom started, or the music, loud music started, the unmarked cars showed up right away. I said, when you send the patrol car with the flashing lights, they turn off the music, and how do you know? Remember, they had tinted windows. This is like 2000. Oh my God. 2006, 2007. Anyway, so then, next night, because I don't know, something happened. It just like came out of nowhere. Just like you could sleep one night and then after that you couldn't. And then they came back because they didn't do anything. But you get used to the boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? So instead of the boom throwing you out of bed and the alarms, car alarms going off and you're in a fright, you're just like, oh, not that again. Because there's nothing you can do. And then all of a sudden, we started seeing the unmarked cars in the neighborhood. And when boom, 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 they got his ass. Okay? They got his ass. Okay? So I had PTSD, like, that's not the only thing. Just the fact, I mean, they were shooting up and killing each other. They were claiming blocks that you couldn't, like, you almost had to walk in a V, like Like there was one side of the block you couldn't walk on. Because I called the congressman and I said, what kind of shit is this? Why are these people paying taxes? Why am I paying taxes on my freaking rent? If I can't, there's certain blocks I can't walk on. If they got that much power, why the hell we got to pay taxes? You know, you can walk on certain sides of the block because the gangs own it. So finally, they had to call the state, literally had to call the state police in to get the blocks back so the people can walk on the other side of the street. Senior citizens, long way around because you couldn't get through. Yes, you say, what happened to the mayor's office? Can you say down with the jiggy boo boo? Down with the get down? Can you say head gang leader? Can you say mayor walking around with ankle bracelet? Can you say mayor worse than Marion Barry in Washington? So I had PTSD bad when I was making neighbors. It's like I didn't directly know all those people that was dying, but I did, and it didn't make any sense. It was senseless. It made no sense why they were dying. None. I couldn't understand it. Gunfire all the time, to the point that it was natural. You say, oh, okay, that's an Uzi. No, that's a handgun because it's pop, 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 pop. Oh, that's an AR because it's shut up. Whew, it's our water time.
Yes, indeed. I'm walking, oh yeah. Just moving.
Let's get some water.
Thank you for the company. I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking. So happy to be walking. Happy to be walking. Thank you for the company.
Okay, we got both our shoulders now. I was a one-armed on YouTube.
Walking. Yes, indeed. I'm walking. Oh, yeah. Just moving. I'm walking. Thank you for the company. I'm walking. I'm walking. I'm walking. I'm walking. So happy to be walking. Happy.
Yep, drinking water.
Be walking. Thank you for the company.
Let's get back to it. I think that's when I learned that the side of town that you're living on, it was way better when I did it after the break, but now it's not matching up too well. Okay, excuse me, give me a minute. Okay, it is what it am. It am what it is. And I had total shock. And I was working as a columnist for the Westchester Guardian at the time. And there was this one guy. Let me do my pulse. This one guy, he didn't even live across the street, like perpendicular to where I lived. I could walk out my gate and I could see the gate where they had all his things up. He had only been on this earth 17 years. 17 years. He wasn't shot at the house across the street from where I live. He wasn't even shot there. It's where the gang decided it's the corner that they wanted to control. So they put up a whole memorial thing for this 17-year-old. And you say, what did he do? They said he wrote poetry. He didn't go to school. He didn't go to school, but he wrote poetry. And so they had some of his poetry up. He didn't really do anything. He was only on his earth 17 years. Take off 5 for being a child. So that would be 12 years. Let's say you don't really learn to read and write until you, what, 6 or 7. So what I'm trying to say is, he didn't do nothing. He did nothing. He didn't live here to be nothing. But they had this whole blanket put over this whole blue blanket with the lines in it, and the whole thing, and then they got drunk on the corner every night, and they cried. So then, the other gang would have someone shot all the way someplace else. But now they want the corner across from the, I don't know, the blue gang people. And then they wanted, it was the red gang people. So the blue gang people, when the guy died someplace else, they took the red gang people's corner and put it up as a memorial. So then the red gang people had somebody killed on the other side of town, but they did the memorial across from the blue gang people because the red gang people did the other corner because the blue gang had pushed them out. So usually what happens is that then there's a shootout. Then the police come and say round up the blue gang. So then the red gang will have both corners. Or say, if it's the red gang, then the police will come around them up and then the blue gangs will have the corner. And this went on for 10 years back and forth. And I couldn't see why the police couldn't see it, but now I understand they did see it. That's what it was all about. It's all part of the thing. So the whole time I'd seen kids die, I tried to run summer recreational program. Thank goodness for Chase Bank and the Yankee Stadium. They were giving out tickets throughout the summer. And if you could round up enough kids, that was your mission to get the buses full. And we filled the buses. And that was such great fun for the kids to experience with the family, the mothers, fathers, and stuff. But for me, it was too much. It was too much. It was too much gunplay all night long. Oh yeah, I forgot. Did I tell y'all they brought the helicopters in? We was like LA. And I think what did it for me was hearing this story. I just heard it. They used to always gather in front of the house or by the gate, and or come by my window like I wanted to hear it. And there was this guy. These two guys are fighting. They said it was like on Fulton. Can't think of that other street. But they was fighting. And the guy who was losing told the guy who was beating him up, I'm going home to get my gun. Stay right here. I'm coming back. And I'm going to shoot you. They said the guy stood there and waited. Waited for the guy to come back and shoot him. And the guy who went home to get his gun, why couldn't he just stay? He came back. And he brought his gun. And he shot the guy. And the thing that got me was everyone was laughing because it was funny. That's what they said. Because the guy who had waited to get shot, when he was shot, he clutched himself and said, "Oh man, you shot me." Like he was in shock. So that thing got me. I said, he waited for the man to come back and shoot him. Where the hell is the shock? The man said, "I'm going to go get my gun and come back and shoot you." Me, he'd have to find me. There's no way I would stand there and wait for him to come back and shoot me. That would never happen. But that's the mentality that I was living around. So then he was shocked. He was shocked. Oh, he shot me. I guess he was shocked that I was dead. But I'm saying to myself, didn't you wait for it? You got what you waited for. Some people don't never get what they wait for. I can't even tell y'all. I can't even tell y'all. So I had bad PTSD when I landed back in Greenwich on North Water and started Neighbors. I had tried, before I left Mount Vernon, to get the chess song, and I had a whole chess program, because it just seemed like these folks ain't thinking. They ain't thinking. Whew. I was turned down every which way possible. And then I knew that all those years when I was tutoring and companion and doing all these things, and the Mount Vernon Recreational Department kept saying, "We're going to put a chess program together. We're going to put a chess program together." I put a chess program together. And guess what happened? Nothing. Because they had no intentions of putting a chess program together. To me, I figured Mount Vernon was just the field in which anything grown there is basically grown to be in the correctional facilities that they have, to keep those facilities going, because Old Homes Day. Old Homes Day in the Westchester prison system. "Oh, I went to school with you." "Yeah, now we bunk Mason jail." It's a breeding ground. I've seen them go into jail, and then I lived there long enough for them to come back out. Here's the cycle. I moved in. As soon as I moved in, there was dead bodies. Somebody jumped off the roof. I moved into the new building, and he was trying to get away from it. He tried to jump something, missed, and fell right in the street plat. Then, right across the street, somebody had just got out of jail, came back to the same community, saw the person who made him go to jail, shot him, and basically went back to jail. And this was maybe within a week of me moving in. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. These folks. And the government wasn't too much different. But it was a whole cult city. I mean, 462 cults in that small little city. Anywhere from 3 to 4 cults in one block. I used to wonder, I was like, wow, if all these cults are about the same thing, why can't they get together? And it's like, oh, it's not. It's the cult leader. This group paid this cult leader's money, and that group paid their cult leader's money. And the cult leaders just don't want to really get together and split their money. Oh, they call it offering. Child. So, I had PTSD by the time I moved to Greenwich and was working on Neighbors, and I just kept hearing them dead voices. I just kept hearing those dead teens. I'm all for teens because I was an on-board team, honey. I sidestepped, maneuver adults and made it to where I had to go. Please. If I had stuck doing what them adults told me to do, please. Well, I'd been there because I had a heart murmur. And their whole thing, cults need cult members. So they just want you to breed. They just want you to breed. So you can have cult members. And if you have a big enough family, you can have a cult. Because I followed little Vicky into a holiness cult. And the basis for them was the fact that they had 12 children. So you had the drum, the bass, the guitar, the tambourine, and the singer. So you had 5 kids there. Then you had 5 kids in the choir, and then 2 kids did something else. They were the church. Everybody else just came and sat down. But it was horrible. So I couldn't sleep. So I said, you know what? I tried. I went around to all the cults, knocked on the door. Hey, why don't you do, you know. But now I know. Now I know. Because the majority of the after-school programs were in the cults. And the cults aren't for critical and independent thinking. So no wonder they slammed the door in my face. Because those are the cults had the after-school programs. So I had to go to the after-school program. I was like, hey, can we do this chess program? Blah, 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 blah. And I kept saying, why are they turning me down? I couldn't understand it. Now I totally understand it. No cult wants no independent thinkers. No critical thinkers. If Charles Manson had critical thinkers, they wouldn't have went out killing people. Somebody said, what that asshole is saying makes no sense. That's critical thinking. If there was critical thinking behind Jim Jones when he took all those African American people out of California and killed them in Guyana, and killed them in Guyana. Some people look at him, I do, I look at Jim Jones as a beast and a monster. But in white supremacy world, he did something that they couldn't do. He got hundreds of African American people to kill themselves. Women to kill themselves and to kill their kids. It took slavery years to accomplish what Jim Jones did it in no time at all. So we talk about him, Jim Jones, like he's a horrible person. But in supremacy and those alien nations and Nazi stuff, he's king, honey. He's king. He didn't try to start a whole world war. He literally just killed. Okay? You talk about those Catholic cults. Y'all forgot how they, you ever heard of eunuchs, castratis? You ever heard of a castrati? A castrati? Oh. I read a book by Anne Rice called Cry to Heaven. And it was about the eunuchs or the castrati singers. And what the Catholic Church used to do is send their priests out to find little boys that are so cute, you know, amongst the poor who had no birth control. See why they didn't know birth control? They had no birth control. So you got 20 kids and you got 4 cute little boys. And the priest said, God wants your boys. And you say, sure, I had them for God. And you give them. And they take your boys and they cut off their balls so they always have a high voice. And they won't have any hair or nothing like that. And they could sing in the choir. And they could sing high, and they had those high voices. And they sung. And then Anne Rice, being Anne Rice, of course, she took it down to how the fact that the kings and the queens and the bishops and the rooks, let me stop, the rook is careful, how they all love the castrati singers, especially married women, because they could lay with married women and not make any children and have any balls. A lot of them, Anne Rice said, no history that I know of, a lot of them were gay. And of course, we're mixing in with the Catholic Church. And from what we know now, Anne Rice wasn't too far off the mark. And so that's what they used to do. So that's a cult. Parish houses, individual castles. So I know now why I was so frustrated when I made Neighbors. I couldn't understand. All the after-school programs were at the cults, and the cults would not have a chess program, an independent thinking program. Because you don't want your congregants or the kids to be smart, and you want them to follow what you say, here, drink this Kool-Aid. Whew. We're almost done. We got 5 minutes, y'all. Whew. I tell you, we got 5 minutes. Let me get me some more water, y'all. Whew. Can the sister have some water? Alkaline water, y'all. I didn't know it was a difference. I've been telling my doctor for maybe 3 or 4 years. I was just, you know. No, they didn't ask. So that, no, I didn't tell them. I just happened to mention to them because my daughter asked me, she said, did you tell them that you drink alkaline water? And I couldn't understand what difference that would make, whether I told them or not. Well, and first of all, they don't ask those questions. They don't care. I told them I went to the gym, they never heard me. I take vitamins. All they care about, they see vitamin C. They don't care about nothing else. I tell them I steam. They don't care about nothing else. And then I said to my doctor, I drink alkaline water. He said, you do? He said, taking, I don't know, the amlodipine or something? And I told him, he said, oh no. And he lowered it. Whew. I don't want to be caught up in that world. I just want to be put down easy. Just let me get my plays and stuff on this internet and sit down somewhere and get put down easy. I don't want no pimply face, little white boys leaning all over me. Let's cut her, let's cut her. Let's cut her. We need somebody to cut. I need cut credits. Let's cut her. I need surgical points of mileage. Let's cut her. Let's cut her. She don't need that. It's old anyway. And she black. Because you know it's cursed. So you know she don't need it. No. I'm good. I got a quarter of a play, one act play down. And then I got another to do. This podcast, congratulate people that participated in Neighbors. Shine light on the good, good, good. Wrap those up, put them away. Just go on my channel and read my screenplays and put them out there. And then I'm pretty much good. Let's knock out 10. Tuck in your elbow. Let's do 10. Squeeze your gut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whew. Squeeze your gut, tuck in your elbow. Let's do 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 for good luck. Whew.
Walking, yes indeed.
Woo!
Walking,
We did it, y'all. Thanks for coming on the walk.
Thank you for the
Please like, comment, share. Tell a friend. Tell an auntie. Tell an uncle. Tell everybody. Yeah.
Happy to be walking. Happy to be walking.
We did it.
Thank you for the company.
Please like, comment, share. Tell a friend. Tell a friend. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell a friend. Tell everybody. Thanks for coming on the walk. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Thank you for the company. I'm walking.